Valley Industry and Commerce Association, and welcome to our video presentation of the Business Forecast Conference. We had an incredible day. Our panelists were fantastic. We had more than 30 panelists, more than 40 exhibitors. Our panels talked about entertainment, healthcare reform, government reform, energy, water and transportation, as well as our morning panel, which were 3 economists that talked about the state of the economy, followed up by our luncheon keynote speaker, Jane Werwand, the founder of Dermalogica, who gave a great and incredible speech about finding opportunity in these uncertain times. I think you're going to enjoy these videos. You can find them on iTunes. You can look them up on YouTube at the VICA channel, and we appreciate that you're taking the time out of your day to look at this, and I think you'll see that next year you definitely want to be at this conference. And if you're interested in joining VICA, look at www.vica.com.
Somebody's got to tell the people the harsh truth that even 10-cent solar power is twice as expensive as 5-cent coal, and the rates will go up. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't be for green power and opposed to rate increases. It just won't work. I mean, it's easy. I mean, DWP has turned out to be a pretty good punching bag, but it's going to punch back. We deliver electricity 20% lower than the Edison company. And I looked at a few people's bills, and their bills would go up 50 and 60, 70% if they had a big house and used a lot of electricity. And we deliver water for 2 gallons for a penny, and most of you people go into the grocery store and pay a whole lot more for it. So I'm just really want to put in perspective all the belly aching that's going on and the screaming minority. And I understand how they feel. Everybody in town's either out of work or fearful of being out of work, and they are rightfully angry. But I need to get folks like people here at VICA and others to understand that we are undergoing a fundamental transition, and the cost of society is coming down. Solar power is cheaper than coal if you look at all the costs of coal. And AB 32 is going to assure that the cost of coal to the consumer in the years ahead will be higher than the cost of renewable energy. And I need some help in getting the intelligent, knowledgeable people in this area to speak up. You can't be on the sidelines in this fight. We are holding ourselves out here in California as a leader, and when you're on the cutting edge, you bleed a little bit. But is this civilization that we have worth saving or not? You don't have to believe a climatologist. You just have to be a prudent business person and take out an insurance policy against the risk that they may be right. We don't buy life insurance because we think we're going to die next year. We buy it because we might.
Something that we must do to save our planet, but it's also something that the planet is going to beat a path to our door place to acquire. And this is going to be the source of one of the driving sources of jobs and economic opportunity in this state, and it's going to provide a source of innovation, the creation of new industries, which we will be able to export to the rest of the world. There's absolutely no reason that California shouldn't be taking global leadership on renewable energy. We have the finest renewable resources anywhere on planet Earth. The most intense solar energy anywhere on the planet is in the Mojave Desert. We have some of the greatest geothermal resources, both in northern and in southern California. We have great wind resources, and we ought to be taking an aggressive, assertive role in making sure that we capture the benefits of those renewable energies, that we spur the innovation, create the industries that can do that right here in California. Now, I've had the pleasure of chairing our Select Committee on Renewable Energy in the State Assembly, and I've served on the Utilities and Commerce Committee for all 3 years that I've been a member of the legislature. And we have been making strides in improving policy that promotes renewable energy greater energy efficiency, and rate reforms as well, which are all tied together. But we have a long, long way to go.
The current purported costs that are now reflected in prices and rates are really artificial in many ways. And if we start to bring a fuller market calculation into the prices of electricity, we're going to realize that our current investments are liabilities. Climate crisis, both adapting to it and also resolving it, meaning reducing the carbon in our electricity supplies, that's going to cost money. It's going to cost money in investment. It's going to cost money in higher fees to be able to deal with this global crisis. Fuel costs, as the economy kicks up, are going to also spike up. The infrastructure costs that Mr. Freeman spoke about that need so much reinvestment. This is true on the water mains that we've seen in the paper, but it's true on the electricity side too. They're leaking similarly. You just don't see it the same way you do when the water puddles on the street. Decommissioning of older nuclear power plants and the security faced around them. All of these kinds of investments are, costs are going up. And we can either choose to sort of be on the wheel and pay for that increased liability of our current dirty way of doing business, or we can invest in the future that will in the long term save us both environmentally, but I think also in many ways financially as fuel costs continue to be problematic.
Amidst now of a little over $20 billion of investment, whether it be through the contracting for renewables and a portfolio approach to the renewables, both central station in those areas where new development can take place, bringing it closer to home in our rooftop warehouse program, some $800 million program there to bring 500 megawatts of new generation into the basin, and down to the million solar roof program. So if you look at those kinds of things from a portfolio standpoint, we're certainly a leader in providing that. Today, I think Edison, we sell on a retail basis 1/10 of all renewable power sold in North America. Out of that, 65% of all solar energy in the United States is sold through the Southern California Edison system. We're also managing today $2.1 billion of long-term contracts. So we're moving very aggressively to try to move the bar, but to do it in a way that is both, as Mr. Freeman pointed out, you have to be sensitive to pricing. Certainly we've seen that in our rates and incorporating that into our rate structure. You have to be able to do that in a way, though, that it balances the needs of the consumer, the needs of the environment, and to do it over a sustained long-term basis. We think that the incorporation of both renewable generation, development, and delivery is important, combined with energy efficiency. We have very aggressive energy efficiency as well, and the implementation of new technologies, whether it be through smart metering systems, smart grid systems. All those investments are important as meeting long-term needs within the electric utility industry. We're looking forward to being able to build that 21st century and being a very aggressive part of it.
Creativity and innovation comes in a variety of different ways. For example, at UC Davis, we're working with their technologists to try and figure out if we can take agricultural waste and turn it into a biofuel. We're doing the same thing with Weyerhaeuser today, in part because of AB 32 and the low carbon fuel standard. Well, we're working with Weyerhaeuser on a project called Catchlight that would take their waste stream and turn it into a biofuel that helps us meet the expected standards under the low carbon fuel standard. So we're very optimistic that we can make and deliver on that technology. We have established a venture capital group. All of us are going to need all the resources, all the opportunities that come out of this renewable future.